रागादिरोगान् सततानुसत्तान् अशेषप्रायः प्रसृतानि शेषान् औत्सुक्य मोहारतिजानुजन्धान् यो पूर्ववैद्याय नमोऽस्तु तस्मै यो पूर्ववैद्याय नमोऽस्तु तस्मै यो पूर्ववैद्याय नमोऽस्तु तस्मै. Good evening, friends. So we are in our fifth day of learning pulse diagnosis. Unfortunately, those who want to learn have not there. Those who want to revise, all are here. So let us revise. When they will come, we'll turn turn by turn, try to train them. So we have seen the four levels in the pulse till now. Yesterday we spoke about the subdosha level. I'll revise, start revision from that only. Subdoshas are nothing but the dosha types. And as Ayurveda understanding goes, doshas are the same only because of the variation in the site and the activities. They are nomenclated separately. Otherwise, they are the same. On one hand, Dallana says even the three doshas are the extension of the concept of dosha, the energy. Eko dosha. Doshas are only one. Like we all understand, the body is an elaborate expansion of that single cell, which is known as zygote. When a sperm and ova come together, we form a single cell. The entire human body is a predictive evolution of that zygote. But ultimately, every single cell in the body is replica of that zygote cell, the mother cell. Likewise, when we are talking about dosha, doshas are the same, one energy, which by the virtue of sight and the action are named separately. And subdosha are the further division of that separately identified dosha concept of tridosha, one which is responsible for movement, one which is responsible for transformation, and one which is responsible for binding. Ultimately, it is the same energy. A part of it been used for transportation, a part of it has been used for transformation, and part of it is used for combination, binding it together. Like at our home, we use multiple electrical instruments. Some of them give light, some of them give heat, some of them cool it, some of them move it. Think of an vacuum cleaner or an electrical fan and you will understand the movement. Think of a refrigerator or a cooler or a AC, they all cool it down. Think of an induction heater, and you find them, heating it up. So depending upon the end instruments, the same electric energy convert itself to fit into that action. Energy remains the same. Likewise, the dosha energy, which is created, nourished at the end of digestive phenomena, ultimately work in the body at three variations depending on the end instrument. And unfortunately or fortunately, the funniest part of it is that end instrument also is the expansion developed by the same cell, zygote. Does it have Vata, Pitta and Kapha? What do you think, Sairam? Can you speak? Because I can see that you are traveling. Huh? Ashok ji, does a zygote has all the three dosha? Hmm? What do you think, Maria? If you have read some Ayurveda, then
Yeah, I think it does.
what do you think? A zygote, which is the first element of the life in a sperm with 22 chromosomes and a ovum with another 22 sets of uh, genes coming together and mixed together to form a zygote with 22, 42 plus 2, a human being, Homo sapiens. So when that zygote is formed, will that have all the three dosha?
Yes.
It has to have, because it is what is defined. Shukra Sonita Jiva Sanyoge Yo Bhaveta Doshutskataha Prakriti Jayate. At the time of conjugation of ovum and the sperm, what you get is a zygote which do contain dosha. And our entire body, though seems separate, like my myocardium is separate than gastric muscles, my musculature in my quadriceps is different than biceps and triceps. My nose functions separately than my tongue. I can see by my ears but cannot hear from my I can hear by ears but cannot see from ears. I can see by my eyes but cannot hear them or smell it. So all these variations of the body element are nothing but the expansion of that single cell. And slowly and potentially they get developed. And slowly they manufacture and manifest in various organs, various tissues. But at base level, if you think of the basics, they are the same, because when the cell division occurs, we have two types of cell division. One cell division is for the sex cells, like for sperm and ovum, where it has been broken into two separate parts. But otherwise, our somatic cells undergo a mitotic division where it is a replica is created. And replica is what? It is the same as the mother. And then potentially they develop into different sets. Likewise, dosha also are developed through that energy phenomena, which is the one, and that functions separately depending on the organ and tissue involved. So when we are examining the pulse, what we examine? We are examining that energy flow. Do you blow flute or any blowing instrument? Either of you two? Sairam is unfortunately not in answering position. A saxophone or a flute or any other instrument, clarinet. Never. Have you saw anybody?
Oh, you mean heard? Yes, I've heard. Yeah, I have. I don't play it myself.
Have you saw them?
Yes.
Do they blow various amount of air at
Yes.
various places in that flute, or it is the only one place where they are blowing the air,
One place.
and probably the only way? But why then different sounds are created?
They control the flow, and then if it's a flute, then with the fingers they just control
They control
the flow and the the way it flows and the pressure.
no.
No.
They control the air column,
Mm.
the length of the air column. Flute are with various lengths, but if you see their holes, it is with a very specific proportion from the point of blow. The moment they lift a finger, the air starts flowing from there. So the column breaks there. You can control the length of the air column in the pipe. And that is how the flute really works, or every blowing instrument works. Nadi is the same. We use the same aerodynamics. We use the same hemodynamic principles, same hydrodynamic principles. When you are intercepting at various places, if you want to really do the fun, you can try that. Keep your fingers on the pulse. Now, you, by some means, press it at brachial. When you are examining it here with the three fingers, you have examined the pulse, right? Now, at the same time, if you can make someone to press your brachial above, what difference it gets? Because you are intermediating, interfering, intercepting at an upper level. You can press this hard at your chest. No, keep your fingers here only and press it hard. See whether there is a variation happens. It has nothing to do, but still occurs because you are intercepting it. You are intercepting the axillary and the brachial both by pressing it down. If you keep something in between and press it hard, so it may probably obstruct something and will give you like this. If you press it here hard, the telephone receiver, your pulse will alter. As when we are examining, we don't do all this nonsense. We are very categorically been trained and told. We are very categorically trained and told, make the patient comfortable and you also remain comfortable, not in awkward position. Reason is that we don't want to interfere the hemodynamics of your artery. We don't want to interfere the aerodynamics of your artery. Energy flows, you can alter it, there can be a hazard. So pulse diagnosis is just trying to tap the flow of energies with the fluid which is going through by intercepting it at various places. If you understand this principle, then understanding pulse diagnosis makes it very easy. But this is very possible only for those people who have already learned pulse diagnosis. Those who are in learning process, for them this is a hazardous idea. Because they will get into interfering it at various places than examining the pulse directly. It's just a measurement of the energy flows. That's all. You are just measuring the energy flows. I can tell you why. Earlier experiments, 17th century. This is 21st century, remember. I'm talking about 17th century. There were experimentations carried out to make a graph of the pulse, the sphygmograph. And those were in use till early 20th century. People used to make a graph. They used to attach one end here of a stylus on the pulse and one end on the paper with a fulcrum in the center. So when the pulse was moving, that thing also was moving in the reverse direction. And you used to get a sphygmograph. That was known as sphygmograph. But it was very difficult to analyze the sphygmograph and convert it into diagnostic process. People were aware about pulsations, its waveforms, even ECG. The diagnostic value of ECG has increased 1,000 times after it started getting digitalized. Prior to that, it was only a graph. And few highly trained doctors were able to make a diagnosis out of it. In towns, there might be 4, 5, 6, 10 practitioners. Out of this 10 MBBS doctors, hardly one was able to identify through ECG what is gone wrong. And still, it was not correct. But now with advent of AI and digitalization, you get a diagnostic process done by someone else. The same variations now can convert the graph into heart rate variability. When you are observing pulse, you are observing only one thing, and that one thing is heart rate variability. Heart rate variability. So what is that heart rate variability is? I'm not talking, do you want me to speak about the fifth level? Maria Kapurji, or we should continue with this? Unmute, I cannot hear you.
You can continue with it.
So what is an heart rate variability? Around 1964-65, people started understanding that ECG waves are not the same waves as they used to be. They are not the same. There are variations. But nobody was really able to judge variation. So when we take normal ECG, it is always done at the 25 millimeter per second speed. So then people increase the speed 50 millimeter per second. Some people made it 100 millimeter per second. So the graphs were little blown up. So they could make it, measure it. But then measuring it manually was very difficult. 1990, AI really got into this. And slowly, people made the ECG machine digitalized. Early digital ECG machines have started coming in 80, 84, 85. Thereafter, because it was a digitally done phenomena, it could have been expanded and adjusted in any length and breadth. with any speed, anything, any damn arrangement can be done. So the measurements were by the machine eyes. So they started, the first thing which was really understood was one second. I just take a pen. If you see a normal ECG, it comes with a very particular pattern. This is how ECG goes. P wave, Q, R, S complex, and T wave. P wave corresponds to atrial contractions. QRS complex corresponds to systole, ventricular contraction. T wave corresponds to ventricular expansion, and the gap between the two waves corresponds to the resting of the heart. So what was calculated first was difference between two consecutive R waves, first R wave and second R wave. First R wave and the second R wave. The difference between the two R waves. That means difference between the two systems. The time lapse between the two systems. And that time lapse between the two systems started fluctuating. Rather, it is observed that it is every time the time lapse between the two systole alters. They changes, they are never same. Because that is because our heart is an instrument which is multifocal. Our heart is an instrument which is multifocal. It has its own electrical supply. And that electrical supply is influenced by multiple factors. Internal and external, intrinsic factors and external factors. External factors like environment, season. Internal factors like food, your mental status, your stress levels, your digestive phase. Everything alters because our electrical supply of the heart is controlled by vagus, sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. So it immediately responds. Like Maria has a pet cat. Right, Maria?
I'm just looking after her. It's my friend's cat here.
But I saw that the cat was very friendly with you.
Yeah, because I feed her every day.
You have pet cockroaches also?
I made what, sorry?
A cockroach?
No.
No? Then
No.
what is there sitting on your left shoulder?
On my left shoulder, it's my...
Yeah. In your left shoulder, I can see a cockroach. Can you just check it out? Cockroach, a big cockroach.
Cockroach?
Yeah.
No.
Please. I can see it in the camera. Just take your pulse.
Take my what, sorry?
Pulse, take your pulse.
Oh, take my pulse. Sorry, I just didn't get what you were saying.
Just the thought process of the cockroach on your shoulder will alter your pulse. Because it is not something which is a common phenomena to happen. There is a cockroach on your shoulder, will alter your pulse.
It goes faster.
It is going faster, yes, because it's an emotion. Oh, what is this? Your heart started pounding. Imagine if a snake stands in front of you there, it will be more dangerous. That is how body responds. If you are working in a hot environment, your body responds, heart responds, pulse changes. So this heart rate variability is an in tune of adaptation which is done to external and intrinsic stimuli. If you don't find that adaptations in the heart rate variability, the first factor which was very well understood was if there is no heart rate variability or minimal heart rate variability, it is a clear-cut sign of stress, non-compatibility, non-adaptability with the environmental changes. That is the stress. So not having heart rate variability is the stubbornness. It had the first ever diagnostic value which was observed. Now heart rate variability has been used extensively for various diagnoses like kidney disorders, heart disorders, even other places in the body which are diagnosed well with HRV. But it was the first thing. And pulse diagnosis is nothing more than understanding heart rate variability with the trained fingers. What you are observing the variations in the pulsation. And pulsation is nothing but the expression of the heart. Every variating heartbeat will give you variated pulse rate. And that variations in the pulse rate is ultimately understood as pulse diagnosis. You get a data which you have to, it's a coded data. You have to uncode it, learn it, and then you can get information out of it. It's like computer language. 0, 1 plus 0, 1 plus 1 plus 0, 1 plus 0, 0, 1 plus 0, 1 plus 0, 1 plus 0. So every coding gives you a different set of data. Same way, every pulsation, what you feel under your fingertips, gives you a different set of data. And that is how the pulse has to be understood. You really cannot check pulse if the person is very stubborn. You cannot examine anybody's pulse when the patient is not willing. If he is in denial mode, you really cannot understand anybody's pulse in denial mode. If you yourself are stressed, it is impossible to examine the pulse because you are supposed to identify the variations. And if you are not settled enough to identify the variations, yourself, you are not comfortable, it is impossible by any method or any means to identify somebody else's pulse and to get through the diagnosis. So diagnosis is a process. And that diagnosis, why it is a process? Because it tells you the similarities of a particular disease process with the similarities you have observed in your pulse. Like if this is going to be the ECG, P wave, QRS complex and T wave. If we convert it, can P wave give anything in the pulse? Can atrial contraction can contribute anywhere in the pulse? No. Because from atrial contraction, the blood is never thrown into the aorta. So blood has not thrown into the aorta, it doesn't go to the system, doesn't form a waveform in the arterial system, and you cannot get anything in it. But what you get, I tell you get a systolic expression. When it is a systole, it will be an ascending waveform. When the blood is thrown, the first thing will happen is that it will go up according to the pressure which is created and the amount of blood thrown in the aorta, and then it slows down. At time, once a systole is about to get complete, it is a ventricular dilatation, and that also gives a kind of small elevation in the pulse. This is how the pulse waveform looks. This is called as anacrotic pulse, where the pulse is moving up. It is the top. This is diacratic pulse, when it is going down. Once it starts compressing, and then it starts relaxation. And in one place, you get a small notch in the pulse, and then it goes down to a baseline. That's how pulse goes. It is called as diacrotic notch, and then the further valley of the diacrotic. PTVD. P, that is, this wave is anacrotic wave, tight, diacratic wave, valley. If you really carefully keep your index finger on the pulse, keep it only one finger, index. Close your eyes and try to feel the pulse as a wave. It will start from distal end of the index finger and it goes towards the proximal end of the index finger. Here, my proximity is with the thumb, not with the heart. Or you can think other way. It will start from the proximal end from the heart and it will go to the distal end from the heart. Can you feel that pulse moving? Something is hitting your fingertip, going up and falling down. If you had ever been on a beach, you can always feel this movement of the wave. You have to be little cautious and feel the waveform. Every pulsation you feel is this top notch of that wave. Every pulsation you feel is that top notch of that wave. But before hitting the top notch, you always feel the momentum. You always have this moment. Understanding this moment in the pulse is pulse diagnosis. Or in simpler way, the easiest pulse diagnosis which I discussed with you all, the 5-level pulse diagnosis, is only concentrating on this part, not on the waveform. It only concentrate on this part, the uppermost part of the wave, where it hits. So it tells you about how the systole is going on in the body. When interrupted, can it reach in the same intensity and velocity at the index finger, because it is the farthest, most away from the heart. When interrupted, remember this, when interrupted. So if it directly reaching to that index finger, it tells you about the tremendous mechanical force behind the pulse, and that we can call it as an vata activity. That is why, while understanding the pulse, the furthest finger is always denoting the vata. In various types. The furthest is the lower part of the body. So it denotes the lower part of the body. It denotes the vata sthana. It denotes vata in the prakriti. It denotes the subdosha of vata. And it denotes asti. Tatra asthini sthito vayu. Why bones? Because the vayu stays there. So the furthest pulsation on interception, if you are getting it, it always denotes some relationship with vata. And that is how the entire pulse diagnosis is calculated, analyzed, understood, and explained. Whether it may be any method, by any sampradaya, by any shastra, all this is all the movement of that blood flow into that tube called artery, which we call nadi. An examination of that blood flow and the waveform, how it heats to your finger, straightway or on interruption, is pulse diagnosis. Very simple, not at all difficult. It may sound difficult because we don't think in this way. I asked you a question, Maria, a few days ago, if you recall. Do you sometimes bake at home?
Do I sometimes what?
Bake your bread at
Bake.
home?
Ah, yes, yes, yeah, I do.
If you ask anybody in my family, those are best chefs. They can create excellent food. But if I ask them to bake a bread, they will be furious. Ah, we don't know. We cannot make it. If I ask my wife to bake a bread, she won't make it. But she can make 10 different varieties of chapatis. It is nothing but the baking on the girdle. It's a thin bread which we bake with the direct heat. Instead of in the oven, which we bake it from all the 4 sides, it is baked on one side. Technically, it is the same. Technically, it is the same. But if you want to ask them, they will not agree on that. That is how, because they are not aware of it. For you, it might sound something weird. How can we identify the waveform in the pulse? But if you close your eyes and try to watch your pulse all the day, 50, 60 times a day, that will struck your finger like a waveform. And then once you identify the waveform, the rest of the things are very easy. The entire Modern medical pulse analysis program is based on the waveform, how the wave moves, how it goes up, how it falls down, whether it is water hammer pulse or whether it is diacratic pulse or an anacratic pulse or whether it is a flutter. Everything is how it goes up and how it goes down. Like in accounts, there are only two entries. Am I right, Bhandarkar sir? Only two things makes account. Something comes in, that is income, and something goes out, that is expenses. Something comes in is a credit, something goes out is a debit. And then you have to make every account from this. Likewise, when it hits you is the systole, and if it falls down, it's a diastole. Now, how that hitting happens, like when you keep this 40 thing, it all depends how fast the flow is. Keep your fingers on the pulse and keep a stopwatch on. Just one thing, before you put a stopwatch on, I want to do one more experiment. Close your eyes. Keep fingers on the pulse. Just watch the pulsation hitting your fingertips. Do they hit synchronously? All the three fingers hit at one time, or they hit it at the various different timings? In a minute, approximately, there are 65 to 80 pulsations. If you put your fingers for a minute, you will get approximately 75 pulsations. Do they hit simultaneously on the three fingers? Why? Sairam said he doesn't hit simultaneously on the three fingers. So how they feel? How they are touching one by one after other? How do you feel? One after other, or some simultaneously and some sometime else? And why should there be a time lapse?
We found first in ring finger, then middle finger, touching finger.
But when you found it on the ring finger, you don't find it on the middle and the index finger, right?
The same, just this is wave, no sir. It is a wave.
That is how I am asking you. When you
Right.
put your fingers together, you are feeling it
First
here,
in ring finger.
then here,
Yeah,
here, right?
yeah, right.
Now, if you are feeling it that way, now keep your stopwatch on and identify what is that millisecond gap you get between the variations. It should not, but that will define the speed of the flow, no? But you count only the velocity of the pulsation, you don't count the speed of the flow. That really depends on the dosha conditioning. Sometime when that waveform is slow enough, so you can feel a complete movement of the waveform. Sometimes you feel it when you're counting 72 pulse, like 1 minute you count. Now count for 3 seconds only. Or count between the two pulse only. What is the time gap? Keep your eye on the stopwatch, alert fingers on the pulse. Why it is taking this much of time? It's a simple exercise. One is the intensity of the pulse and one is the speed of the bolus going on. But there are two factors. Earlier bolus is also there. Earlier pulsation is also there. So you are not tracing only one pulsation. But what is the gati? Gati is that bolus, how it is moving across the three fingers. Gati is that when it hits the ring finger, how does it move to middle and how does it move to ring finger is the gati. Whether it goes jumping, 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 it is manduka gati. When it goes across middle part of this, side of this side of this is sarpagati. And when you find it linear, that is hamsagati. Gati is how the bolus moves, how that wave is moving. Wave has to move, otherwise it is no wave. If you really watch that bolus moving, then only it is possible for you to identify the gati. But we don't make this very complicated. We make the feeling of the pulsations. How do you feel the pulsations? Every following pulsation is a new waveform. So that is why we are measuring gatis differently on three fingertips. We measure gati in ring finger separately, in middle finger separately, and in index finger separately. So we are following not the single bolus, but the following boluses on each finger separately. If you understand that I have told you, the pulse has to be examined for 90 seconds. So there must be around 100 pulsations to be observed overall. And if that 100 pulsations to be observed in each level, we get 20 pulsations to be observed. So you get 20 pulsation in each level, even in the superficial. So you have to identify under which finger in superficial level you are feeling the pulsations. It may be 1, 2, or all the 3. Check it out. And wheresoever you find the pulsation, you have to check that every successive pulsation where it hits. Can you feel that? And there are these 3 variations main. There can be multiple variations, but these are 3 are commonest one. They really cover major part of your physiology. One is, yes, Sairam, we have to understand every successive pulsations, of course, on 3 different fingers at the same time. You have to identify 3 multiple pulsations under each finger separately, and every passing pulsation where it hits. So this is all for today. I am sure that I have given you enough of material to think and practice tonight. Can I request you something? Can you join at 2:30 tomorrow?
It is, yeah.
2:30.
That's no problem.
2:30, because one of our earlier batch, Hindi batch student, is going to talk about her experience on Chinese pulse diagnosis with 6 fingers together. So we'll shift our class at 2:30. It will be a mixed language, Hindi, English together.
No problem.
I hope, Maria, do you understand a little Hindi, or you don't understand Hindi at all? So I'll try to translate for you.
Thank you.
No, I'll share with you the other link. It cannot be the same link. It will be a different link. I'll share with you all. Please join tomorrow at 2:30.
Right.
After the class gets over, Maria, I'll try to analyze and discuss what we really interacted with you. Okay?
Okay.
I'll continue in that. We won't start at 4:30.
Right. Thank you.
Is it okay?
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
thank you very much.
Okay.
I think
Thank you.
I have given enough material for you to think a lot, practice a lot.
Thank
Because
you, sir.
that is how the pulse is understood. You try that. It is easy. It is not at all difficult. Only thing you have to be little cautious. That's all. Be aware. Sairam, what Guruji says, be aware. What Osho says, be aware. What Maharshi Mahesh Yogi says, be aware. What Gita says, be aware. So we have to be aware and try to learn explore the things. That's how we learn. Namaskar.